President Lombardi, Board of Trustees, our educators, students, and families, I'm humbled, honored by this recognition, but I'm also just honored and humbled by being allowed and welcomed into your family, into your environment on this very, very special day. So thank you for that. Maryville University, graduation class of 2022, you fired up? Hey, you better be. How about our families? We fired up? What a day. Now let's go back a couple years. This little thing that happened called pandemic. Let's be honest, it probably changed the way we saw ourselves in our day-to-day lives, in our work. But for all of you here sitting in front of me, the way you thought about this whole idea of going to school, being educated, and same thing for our educators. It's funny, because last night I was talking to my wife about what type of message I wanted to pass on to y'all. And hopefully, I'll give you a couple stories and you're gonna be able to connect and relate or take something out of it. But my goodness, you all are doctorates too here with a PhD in overcoming adversity. What you've done to be here today is exceptional. And I bet you the majority of you don't understand what it truly means, but look, Maryville has a very special thing going for them. They're ahead of times. The key word, digital. The way you conduct your educational system and processes here in this university is actually going to set you up for success as you go into the workforce. Every day I work for Microsoft, we have this whole notion about what does a hybrid workforce look like? How do we communicate more effectively? How do we support each other in these tough moments? How do we meet objectives and outcomes the way we were used to back in the day? Oh, well, nothing changes, except now we have better tools to be more successful. And y'all started your journey ahead of time compared to many of your peers. And when you come into our workforce, when you join our ranks and you become our leaders, you're going to be able to really allow us to drive to our outcomes and goals and objectives on the business side, educational side, or even a government side a lot faster. That's exceptional. I'm here today because of this medal around my neck. On August 8, 2012, in Eastern Afghanistan, I was doing my job. I was being a soldier. The most important thing on that morning when I woke up was to be an expert at the basics, to be attentive to all details around me, and never allow complacency to dictate the outcome of a potential dangerous situation. Every day, day in, day out, night in, night out, it was the same motto. Don't try to overdo it. Don't be a hero. Be a good teammate. Follow the basics. Do your job. We were perfect that day. And we still lost 4 friends. Everywhere I go, everywhere I speak, anytime you ever see me wearing this medal, which doesn't belong to me, it belongs to all of us, it belongs to our nation. You're going to hear the names of Command Sergeant Major Griffin, Major Gray, Major Kennedy, and Reggie Abdel Fattah. These are 4 of my friends who never came home. And every day when I wake up, I'm blessed. I'm blessed because I have the opportunity to take a breath. I'm blessed because I have an opportunity to share their names and their stories and remind my network and my environment of the incredible sacrifice that so many make. But it doesn't stop at being a service member. Every single one of you in this room, in this arena, whether graduating, whether educating, or whether a member of our families, has a unique story. See, what I learned in my time in service, the good and the bad days, is that I have something to learn from every single individual that I ever cross paths with. The beauty about being a human being is you could be identical twins, but you're still unique. There will never be another person just like you. We all have feelings and thoughts and passions that we can share and learn from. And so one of my messages for you is, as you go on your path, as you go on your adventure, never be afraid to tell your story. Too often I hear folks who feel like their story is not worthy enough to be able to be shared because they don't bring anything to the table or they're not comparable to another person. How do you know that? You don't know what that person is going through. They might appear strong, brave, have everything in front of them, specifically on social media. But we know one thing clearly is that we all struggle at times, and we all have to overcome adversities. And what do we do when we're struggling? We look around. We look for guidance. We look for faith. We look for help. After August 8, 2012, I spent 5 months as an inpatient at Walter Reed Hospital. And I'm going to tell you something here that is tough to tell. It's called being vulnerable. And I was a Division I athlete, Army Ranger qualified, multiple tours to Afghanistan, been in over 300 firefights in my lifetime. And here I sat in a hospital bed in Bethesda, Maryland, trying to figure out how to take my life because I was ashamed of who I was. I was closed in, angry, and the demons in my head were guiding my path. I allowed negativity to take over. And all my strength dissipated in days. And I felt alone. I felt like I was in a dark room with no light. And then one day, on November 12, 2012, a gentleman walked into my room named Travis Mills, quadruple amputee. He had been blown up in April of 2012 in Afghanistan as well. And he walked into my room with a smile on his face. And he said, "Hey, Captain Groberg, what a great day to be an American. What a great day to be alive. How about damn Lions?" So I'm going to admit something here. I'm not sure you'll all be a fan. I'm a Bears fan, right? So obviously you can all feel sorry for me. No big deal. And so obviously we're competitors. But the one thing that really caught me was the fact that here I was over the last 3 months of my life, 4 months of my life, angry, sad, frustrated, feeling sorry for myself because I lost friends under me, because I was injured, and I would never be the same person. And this man walked into my room with no limbs, with a smile on his face, fired up for that day. In 15 minutes, the length of this speech, in 15 minutes, he rewired me, he guided me, he gave me hope, he opened up that tunnel of darkness and showed me light. He reminded me that every single one of us in our lives have the ability to share a story that will impact another without even realizing what that impact could potentially be. He said, "You're breathing, my friend. You have 4 families now that you can impact forever. But most importantly, you have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people that you can bring a little bit more light to as well." He gave me a mission and a purpose. I've taken that moment and I've treasured it. And I will continue to treasure it for the rest of my life. I'm not scared to stand on a stage in front of thousands of people and talk about the fact that I went through some really dark times. I'm not afraid of the word suicide because that's life, folks. It's not easy. But what I learned from that moment is I shall never allow negativity to take over. And from now on, I will take a positive in a negative situation and focus on that. And it's driven me. I was a criminal justice major, and I got a degree in intelligence policies. But I went and worked in aerospace in one of the top companies in the world in Boeing. I wasn't scared to put myself out there because I've never been scared to fail. I challenge you with this notion because you, every single one of you, has the ability to go change your environment. Forget changing the world. Let's focus what's in front of us. Let's focus in our direct impact area. You have the ability to put yourself in position and do the impossible, what you would potentially deem as the impossible, because you have put that connotation behind that word, which should be completely eliminated from your vocabulary. Never be afraid to put yourself out there. My greatest lessons have been surrounded by my biggest failures, because I sure as heck did not like that feeling. And when I fell, like I did on August 8th, instead of staying down, I got back up. As my boys were trying to drag me, I told them I still had one good leg, and you picked me up all hop. That's the American way that I learned in the mountains of Afghanistan. That's the American way that I learned reading about our history, where we stand from. And this comes from an immigrant that did not come to this country until he was 11 years old, didn't speak English until he was 12 years old. This country has given me this ability to identify myself as one of you, but most importantly, as an individual that understands what it takes and what it requires to have courage. But nothing that I've ever done in my life has been because of me. It's always been because of the people who are around me, the people who have taken chances on me, the people who have opened up doors and allowed me to walk through on my own and make those mistakes and learn from those mistakes and come back and ask me, what'd you learn? The people that provided me with a pathway to grow as an individual. You all have a story. You all have the ability to be change actors in your environment. You all have the opportunity to be whoever you want to be. I am honored, humbled, and grateful for everything that's been given to me, specifically the ability to call myself an American, but most importantly, for the opportunity that I had to serve alongside some of the finest men and women. And since then, the opportunity that you provided me today to come here and be part of this very special moment. Tell your stories. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there and fail, because you will learn and grow from that and become bigger and stronger. And most importantly, you will be that next advocate for that young individual that will be looking up to you for guidance and motivation and hope. Congratulations, class of 2022. You're amazing. I'm fired up for y'all. Be safe tonight, but have fun.